Hello, chaps. Welcome, fellow Fattercasters. How the devil are you? Yes, it's still a bit chilly in here, as you can tell. I'll give you more details on that later. The ongoing saga of our knackered central heating system. Such is life, such is life. It'd be boring without that kind of thing, wouldn't it? Yes. Anyway, first of the day. First one of the week. In fact, if you start the week at the right point, that is, if you, depend, because a week can be Monday to Monday, or it can be Tuesday to Tuesday, or any period you choose. And under those rules, that's the first one of the week. How the devil are you, everyone? Let's have a look and see who's in and who was teacher's pet this week first through the door. That was Amadeus. Well done, mate. And then we've got Paul Trainer, David James, and Cylon Hybrid. Rent to Kill is there, so is Dave Fiendish and Rubbish Guitar Bloke, who sings Snow Outside, Coal Fire Roaring, Beer on the Table, Mustang on the Knee, Ready for John Robson. Did anyone used to watch Dallas? Not the version with Debbie. I have no idea what you're referring to there, mate. And if you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you. Anyway, there's Ingrid and Santa Cruz and Vincent Brennan. Johnny Random is in, so is Theme Tunes. And Francis Chambers, Malcolm Spillett, Mark Kerno, and El Baldo. What are you saying there, Baldo? Going to miss the live stream as I'm heading out up to Paisley to try out a few numbers with a blues rock band seeking a new bassist. Gary Moore, Blackberry Smoke, Tom Petty, Hendrix, etc. Well, break a leg, mate. You'll probably be watching this on catch-up. Hope it went well for you, mate. There's Peter Collins and Dave Lewis and Grandpa Joe, my official head of global marketing. Cheers, Fattercasters. Every week I plug John's Tier 2. Ask the 11 chaps that joined in the weekly chat how cool it was this week. Consider joining. It supports the channel and get a guaranteed good time. I will just kind of second that. This live stream on a Friday is definitely one of my weekly highlights, and that Tuesday Zoom chat with the other Tier 2 lads is another one. We're building up a really nice community there, and it'd be cool if you could come and join us. And Joe's saying, if anyone who joined the Tier 2 chat this past week would like to comment, please do. Indeed, well, I just have, because I was there as well, as you might imagine. There's Anton, and we've got Terry Day, Dr. Gomez, Craig Stamen, all new amp for me, just got a Quad Cortex and a Laney FRFR cab to go with it. Yes, the curiosity worm is kind of nibbling at me a little bit about that kind of thing. Dogs barking downstairs. I'm not really into that sort of menus and scrolling and everything, but the that new Black Star one, the thing is, though, I know I would just dial it in and make it sound like a Marshall and then forget all about it. Anyway, who else we got? We've got PFY Guitars, Grumpy Horse, and a super chat there from Terry. Good day all, been nice and sunny here in Kamloops, British Columbia. No snow at all, new laptop running great, and studio is active again. Yes, I've got a new laptop, and the only place it's running is straight back to Amazon. Yes. Again, more details to follow. Snackham is in. Good evening from a blustery but warm North Africa, where we're escaping the worst of the British weather for a week. Well, lucky all you. It was a little bit. My dad used to have a saying. It's one of those things that you know what it means, but you don't know why it means what it means. When it was a cold, miserable, windy, wet, horrible day, he would say, "I tell you what, lad, it's a bit thin." And it was definitely a bit thin when I took Dougal out for his walk today. Who else have we got? We've got Mark Card. And... oh, have I missed somebody? No, I don't think I have. Mark Card and... 60s Man and Doc Alders. Evening dudes, Friday cheers and beers from Helen and Ian in Sheffield. Nice one, mate. Cal Texper is in, so is Johnny D. I'm going to be mentioning you very shortly, mate. Chris Ottewell Guitars is in, so is Austin Barrett, Thomas Mulvaney, Blue Sofa Songs, and Jimmy James. Then we've got local boy just round the corner from me, Colin Falcon, and there's Peter Williamson, who's dropped a £5 into the beer fund. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Every little helps, as they say. There's William Forrest and Dave Fiendish. Rexamatic saying good morning. Let's put you up on screen. A little tip for you: if you want putting up on the screen, write a long message, because I find them easier to read up there. Good morning from up in the cool country, Whitefish, Montana, playing Seafoam Green Player Stratocaster this week. That's a proper colour for a Strat, that, isn't it? Yes. Out of those Strat colours, it's like I do like a nice sunburst on any guitar. On Strats, I like a two-tone burst more than the three, I think. But like the solid colours, I'd say Seafoam Green and Sonic Blue. And obviously the Fiesta Red. A little nod to Hank there. Then we've got Ron Wells, and who else? We've got a session guitar legend. Gary Shaw is with us, ladies and gentlemen. So is Mr. Chris, and Video Games. Is Video Games -JX2BG, to be precise. Then I'm never quite sure how I'm pronouncing your name, mate. Is it Dave Balls or Dave Balsey? You're going to have to let me know. Apologies if you haven't, I've missed it. But then we've got Jay Aoyong, and then Cool, this fella here. I have no idea how I'm supposed to pronounce that, but there you go. Then my pal Steve Cassidy is in there. Like, yes. Don't forget, Steve's probably got a video going out straight after this live stream, and go and watch it. I shall be watching it later while the wife's watching her soaps, or Traitors, or whatever stuff or God forbid, The Masked Singer. Oh dear me, I just can't be in the same room as that show. Jimmy James is saying JR rules. Well, thank you very much, mate. Johnny is saying good day from Oregon. Well, nice to see you, mate, from Redcar. Who else have we got? JR Channing is there, and anyone else? Adrian Laws is in. Let's keep scrolling, because I don't want to go on too long with this. Gary Goodwin, and another super chat from Mr. Chris. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Every little helps, especially when you've got a new boiler and a new laptop to pay for. Might you all get a refund on the old laptop. Triple Distilled is in, so is Brad Dowell, and there's, have I said Blue Sofa Songs? I just have, if I didn't already. Ravensmead is in, and I believe that's everybody. I think I got through that rather well. I need a self-congratulatory bit of lubrication on account of that. Right, let's tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. Sunday's video. You may recall I did a Sunday video a little while ago, last year sometime, months and months. Anyway, it was on the subject of keeper guitars that I would never ever get rid of. Well, I've got rid of a couple of them. It wasn't through choice. I needed to finance the purchase of this one here. At the time, I just finished writing the latest book, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, and I'm not being kind of coy about it. The sales of that book were nowhere near as good as the music theory one, which, given my audience, music theory is, I do a video on music theory, and it's like, it's reassuring to know that those people who watch the video enjoy it, because that's going by the comments, but it doesn't get anywhere near the views that it would be nice to get. But if I'll do something on kind of, here's a melodic rock guitar solo, okay, that's plenty of views. Well, the books were the inverse of that, so I was expecting the melodic rock guitar book to fund the purchase of the new guitar. It didn't. So in order to fund the purchase of the new guitar, I had to sell a couple of keeper guitars. So Sunday's video is very much an update on the topic of keeper guitars. And Jimmy James, you are a gentleman, sir. 10 Canadian dollars into the boiler fund. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. So that's Sunday's video. Then on Monday, Johnny D, step forward. It's your moment in the spotlight, mate. You may recall I did that soloing contest over a jam track that I put out ages ago, and I picked a winner, and it was Johnny D. I said I'd be doing a solo analysis breakdown video of Mr. D's solo, and well, that's what's coming up on Monday. Then Tuesday, top 5 video. What am I talking about this week in the top 5 slot? Well, 5 top tips for improving your fretboard knowledge. A little bit of a serious video. Quite often I'm sort of I'm quite, kind of tongue-in-cheek about those, but this one's a little bit serious. And mystery solved, ladies and gentlemen. This chap here, C000L0, is Christoph. Remember Christoph? I spoke about him last week. Thank you very much for the super chat. Anyway, Christoph. Christoph's having some health issues at the moment. Time in hospital and so on. And I said we'd raise a glass to him, and we very much did last week. Well, I'm going to raise a glass to you again now, Christoph. Thank you so much. He is wishing you all the best and hoping you get well soon, mate. Hopefully you are on the road to recovery. Cheers, mate. Anyway, Tuesday, top tips for learning the fretboard. Then last week's Wednesday video was showing how I write a chord sequence. Basically just, using the... Some people... There was a comment under last week's video where it was all about, I prefer not to... I think the guy said you can ignore the rules or something like that. And my response is, don't think of these things as rules. They're just ways of cataloguing what has a proven track record of working. Ultimately, if everybody had always stuck to the rules that were established at the time, then we would still be listening to parallel root fifth Gregorian chant kind of music, because nobody had discovered any other form of harmony by then. So, it's not rules, it's just a way of cataloguing what and quantifying what already has a proven track record of working. That's what last Wednesday's video was about in relation to writing a chord sequence. Well, this week I'm going to show you how to play over that chord sequence that we looked at. And then on Thursday, a bit of a special one for me. It's a guitar that 30 odd years ago in the early 90s, I remember it wasn't quite pin-up status, but it would, it was. I remember it was a particular guitar that I was absolutely drooling over in a copy of Guitarist magazine. The same make, the same model, and even the same damn colour, and I wanted that guitar so bad, and I lusted after it, and I kind of coveted it, and I thought it was like no surprises, it was a ridiculously expensive boutique guitar, and I finally, 30 odd years later, got my hands on one, and I'll be giving you my first impressions of it on Thursday. And on that note, I just need to that first one never touches the sides. I just need to, recharge my flagon. By the way, once again, this week I'm on the green Carlsberg because the shelves were a little bit understocked in Aldi. They didn't have their usual cheap 15 cans of 3.5% beer for £8. There was some there, but there wasn't enough for my requirements, so I had to take up the slack with Carlsberg, and the two are indistinguishable. It's a 3.5% guzzling beer, and that'll do me for a Friday night. What people often call a session beer. it's there is a certain gentleman, and I'm probably going to get a text off him as I tell this tale, that when we had the first Red Carmageddon get together, he was it was a session. We started at 5 o'clock on the tea time, and we were going all night, and he was chugging back the 5% Star of Pramen, and ended up getting thrown out of the curry house because he was absolutely staggering. He was staggering, and so when you're in for the long haul, go for a session beer. Certainly not a 5% one. That is the voice of age and wisdom speaking. And said gentleman is pretty much under the weather himself at the moment, because he's got what he thought was a bit of a cold, and it turns out that it's it's something. Well, it's a chest infection, and it's really knocked him on his back. So the medicinal properties of alcohol. So that's my advice. Cheers, everyone. Anyway, yes, I also want to say a big thank you to everyone who took me up on that offer that I put out there last week, which was all 3 books, the premium version of the Dougal Streets album, and 26 guitar lessons for £400. That just absolutely flew off the shelves, to the point now where there is no more availability in the diary. So that's paid for my new boiler, put it that way, which was the whole point of it in the first place. Yes, the boiler is getting fixed on Monday. The guy is coming to come and sort that out then, and thanks to the very good sense of the people who signed up for that My Special offer last week, the money's in the bank to pay for it, which is nice. So anyway, I've been blethering quite a bit. Let's have a look and see what I've what I've missed in the chat. Let's scroll back up to the last one I remember reading. Lots of people wishing Christoph get well soon. I will second that. Mr. Chris is saying no such thing as a keeper. There is. I mean, it would take some serious, kind of circumstances to part me with this guitar, the Grandpa Joe Les Paul. You all know the story of this one. Grandpa Joe sent me this wonderful NYPD challenge coin that James at Agrajag inlaid into it for me, and this is, I mean, even if it wasn't for that, it took me 30 years to find a single cut that I really bonded with, and the fact that I bonded with it was why that modification was carried out. And this one, I mean, look at me videos. How often do you see me playing anything else other than this wonderful telegib? So, yeah, no such thing as a keeper. I thought that with the two that went the journey. Since last time I did a keeper's guitar video, but I can honestly say that those two will, cross me heart, Scout's Honour, and that's Scout's Honour, isn't it? Or is it? No, that's the Mr. Spock one, isn't it? Anyway, but I can't foresee any circumstances where those two would get packaged up and sent off down to the parcel force. Johnny D saying, good stuff, John. I'll finally be able to see what I did in the solo. What else have we got? Can I hear an amp cooking away in the background? No, I'll show you what you can hear in the background. That little fan heater there. That's not Dougal on the wall there. That's not Dougal. That was our first dog. That's Cassie, long since shuffled off this mortal coil. No, we've got... when I came into this room to set the live stream up at 3 o'clock, the little I've got this thing on the desk here, one of these. It's just a little desk clock and thermometer. and the temperature on that was reading 12 degrees Celsius. That's an outside temperature. That's a chilly temperature outside in spring. Do you know what I mean? And that's what temperature it was in here. So I thought let's put the fan heater on, and it's currently reading 19 degrees. Not quite. I like to be 20 or above. But even, yes. The older you get, the more you want it cranked up. I used to remember going to see my mother when she was still alive, and the thermostat on her heating system was cranked all the way up. It it got from 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and then it just it didn't have any numbers after that, and she had it cranked all the way up, So I can see me turning into that kind of person. Who else have we got? Oh, see, we've got Bob the Sliding. Nice to see you, mate. And Johnny Random is saying, how about installing a new operating system, John? I'm going to install a version of Linux Mint. It's free and got good reviews. Works on old equipment, not bogged down with Microsoft updates. Yeah, you're talking about my new laptop. It's not the operating system. It's a brand new laptop. It's some no-name brand called Lapbook that had a really good deal on Amazon. But there's an issue with the charger. I won't bore you with what it is. And it's not like a standard charger. It's their own proprietary thing. So I emailed them and said, can you send me a new charger? And they said, no, we don't send that. We don't sell those chargers. You'll have to contact the manufacturer direct. And the details will be on in the documents that you received with it. Well, what documents did I receive with it? I received that with it, and no kind of, just all the usual sort of stuff in multiple different languages, and anyway, long story short, they wouldn't send me a new charger, so I'm sending I bought it on Amazon, so I'm sending the entire laptop back, and I'm going to spend once I've got the refund, I'm going to spend my money elsewhere. I'm going to get something from HP or Dell or Asus or something like that. The laptop itself is fine, it runs like a dream, but it's just there's an issue with the charger where basically it doesn't charge properly. It'll tell you that it's at 100% of the battery, and then you unplug the charger and it immediately drops down to about 70% just on unplugging the plug. So something's amiss there. So I'm presuming it's the charger. It might not be. But either way, the laptop's going back. So it's downstairs doing a factory reset with itself at the moment. Silent Hybrid is saying, oh yes, a keeper can have sentimental reasons. Two my dad played, one recently my wife bought me. Yes, many reasons for a keeper. Yeah, another keeper in here is, let's turn the camera around here, is the black Les Paul copy you can see on the wall, but I haven't played it in months. It's a horrible guitar, judged by on an objective kind of metric, but it's wonderful at the same time. It's a satellite Les Paul copy, and because I'd spoken about not my first electric guitar. My first electric guitar was a Woolworths Top 20. But the first one that I'd gigged with was a satellite Les Paul copy. And, I've spoken about it on the channel many, many times. And a very generous chap called Neil just turned up at the door one day and said, there's a satellite Les Paul copy for you. So, it's that to me means absolutely everything. And it's just, every time I do pick it up, I'm 17 again. It's got that kind of, that sort of, just the tactile experience of playing it, and, the feel of the neck and the rough fret ends and everything. It's a wonderful experience. So yeah, that's another keeper. Mr. Chris is saying, recharge the electrolyte. Is that that must have been when I was talking about the medicinal qualities of a wee tipple. Dr. Gomez is on the Green Carlsberg too. It was $9.99 for 18 cans at Aldi. I wonder if my Aldi's got that deal on, because I shall be going up there tomorrow morning. That's another excuse for me to listen to an album, because I've got to squeeze them in. It's about a 40-minute walk from our house to Aldi, so I'll get me kind of backpack on. I go with a backpack stuffed with carrier bags, basically, and get all the kind of shopping stuffed into those. But I get my little wireless earbuds in and listen to some music on the way up. Pete Long saying, "Oh, Pete Long, nice to see you, mate. No beer in the Sappers Rest tonight on the small ones." Is that on the shorts, mate? Are you hitting the heavy stuff? Malcolm Spillets on the Adnams Broadside, 6.3%. That'll get the job done, won't it? But it's not what you'd call a session beer. Vincent Brennan sold 3 guitars and 1 amp last couple of weeks to thin out the herd, then bought 2 80s synths and a nice Tokai Flying V. So much for the thinning down. Yes, I've never had the keyboard bug bite me, but it might be an idea for a video, wouldn't it? Can a fat bald northern lad with too many chins and not enough hair make sense of? Because anybody who's ever had lessons with me knows that I often kind of refer things to a keyboard, because it's an easy way to make sense of why this note is a sharp or a flat or anything like that. Might be interesting to, yes, I might just do that once I've paid for the boiler and a new laptop. Anyway, Johnny D saying, good snag for anyone who grabbed the lessons and books package. Yes, indeed. I thought it was a good deal myself. If I'd have been one of you lads, I'd have partaken myself. Cylon Hybrids on Steam Brew from Lidl at 7.8%. You're going to have a thick head in the morning, mate. Johnny D saying, I have a keeper, my 73 Strat bought by my dad back then. Too many gigs and memories, indeed. Yeah, sometimes that is the thing, isn't it? It's like when a guitar becomes not just a thing that you own, but it's something that you have a relationship with. Gary Shaw saying, Fahrenheit, I'm old. Yes. Let's. What is, when I came in here, it was 12 degrees centigrade. So what is that in Fahrenheit? Let's have a 12 Celsius to Fahrenheit. That was 53.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's, as I say, that's an outdoor temperature. That's not a particularly pleasant outdoor temperature for springtime. Yes, in February it was the indoor temperature in this room. Cylon Hybrid saying, fan heater needs to be on the floor, heat rises. I'd never thought of that. Maybe I shall do. The thing is, if it's on the floor, it's going to be, I don't know if you can see, but I've got like a rack of guitars there, and it's going to be blasting into that sort of rack of guitars, and I'm not really kind of, I don't know, but it's warm enough in here now as it is. I've just lost the chat there. Triple Distiller saying, my old laptop can't handle Windows 11, is very slow. Might switch over to Linux. Yeah, I used to have a laptop with Linux on it, and you know, it does everything that you need, but until you start needing to do some specialised kind of stuff, like I'm pretty sure there is video editing software that you can use on Linux, but it's not the video editing software that I use and I'm familiar with, and I know all the keyboard shortcuts for, and I've got all of the third-party plugins installed that I know how to, you know, that kind of thing. There's that issue to think about as well. Rexomatic is saying, my keeper has to be the Gibson J200 I acquired over 25 years ago, but my newer Yamaha FS9R rather may need to keep it company the older and smaller I get. Paul Trainer, all my bass guitars are keepers. Anyway, I'm just going to have a swig of beer, and then we're going to take a look at some guitars, some pictures of guitars that you've sent me. Because, dearie me, it's flying by tonight. And where we want to be into there. And in that folder, there's that folder. And in that folder, there's some pictures. Very pretty ones at that. So I'm just bringing the first one up. And, oh dear me, this is a nice looking one. Wait till you see this. Here we go. Share screen. And this is one of the many guitars. One of the pictures sent by Carl Roberts. This is his 2024 Epiphone Les Paul Standard 50s. The more I see the kind of newer incarnation of the Epiphone headstock on a Les Paul, the more I like it. I used to hate the one that had like the clipped corners, you know, the old school Epiphone headstock. It just didn't look right to me. It looked like putting my head on top of a picture of, you know, Tom Cruise or somebody. It just didn't fit. But that's a beautiful looking Les Paul. And strangely, the like the greeny Epiphone Les Paul that's got the proper open book Gibson headstock, I don't like the Epiphone logo on that Gibson headstock. Again, that's another thing that aesthetically I don't find pleasing, but that's just a me thing. What a lovely looking guitar. Another one from Carl Roberts. That's the headstock. Yes, sorry, I've just slagged off your guitar there, haven't I, Carl? With the clipped corners. 2013 Epiphone Les Paul, custom Les Paul, custom shop Les Paul. Epiphone custom shop. I didn't know there was an Epiphone custom shop, but obviously there is. Nice looking guitar, mate, and notwithstanding my comments about the headstock, it's something about white Les Pauls, isn't it? It's just got they've got that thing, or they have for me anyway. Then another one from Carl Roberts. This is his 2021 Epiphone inspired by Gibson SG Modern. Lovely looking top on that. Yes, and lovely looking instrument. Then this one came in today. This is. I'm going to say your name is Dave Balls, mate. This is his Pacifica, which he's modded quite extensively, as you can see. He's made a sterling job of refinishing that in a rather nice, organic way. And, I mean, come on, that colour blue with a tortoiseshell pickguard, that's just a business, isn't it? That's a lovely looking beast. Then this is Mark Card's Ernie Ball Music Man Stingray, dual Music Man neodymium humbuckers and an active 18 volt preamp. I was once in a band with a bass player who got rid of his Fender Precision bass and bought one of these instead, and it's not, I don't know if it was this exact model. It was certainly a Music Man bass in that finish. It looked a lot like that, and the difference in his tone was like night and day. It was just, it just made the whole band sound, really much more punchy and ballsy. Then we've got Mr. Chris's Hofner 12-string. As you can tell, Mr. Chris is a southpaw. He's a lefty. He plays the wrong way around, but we won't hold that against him. And this lovely collection here is belonging to Pete. Axe Pete, the very kind of talented chap who drew that little caricature of me that appears in all of my thumbnails. So what have we got here? I believe this looks like a pair of artist tellies. And that's a Burns something. Is that a Burns Marvin? I'm not sure. A Burns something or other. And then we've got oh yes, that's the artist HSS Strat that I think we've already seen a picture of in previous episodes. Yeah, relicking, you either like it or you don't. You know my stance on that, but I am curious about artist guitars. I've had a couple in the past, but they've really upped their game since I last had an artist guitar, and I keep my eye on their website, but there's literally nothing on there at the moment. I'm assuming I'm going to the correct website, but you Google Artist Guitars UK and there's like nothing on there. But I'm checking up periodically. And what have we got? Yes, Vincent Brennan. You were talking about this earlier, mate. There's the couple of 80s synths that he's bought, and that Tokai Flying V in white. Very KK Downing looking, that, isn't it? And another one from Pete. This, I couldn't resist this picture. That's his Gordon Fifth Avenue Kingpin, which I did a review of one of those a while ago. And then there's War Bob, photo bombing in the foreground there. Yes, yes, that's the kind of look that the dog gives you when you say, "I'm a good boy, me. Got any biscuits?" Yes, I know that. Dougal's got that look off to a T. So there you go. That is this week's selection of bathing beauties. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm just going to kind of have a little bit more medicine. Well, we'll call it medicine, shall we? Oh dear me, that flavour. Dave Balls is saying, I'm learning how to record acoustic guitar in Audacity on Linux Mint, audio fit interface and mic. It's really interesting learning about different mic positions. Yeah, I'll let you into a little secret. You often hear me strumming a bit of acoustic guitar in the background on like the jam tracks that I'm playing along to. That is that kind of brown Harley Benton, the dark brown one, just plugged straight into the interface. It's got a Fishman preamp system in it, which gives a absolutely fantastic sound, and then I just tweak it a little bit more with an acoustic impulse response. It's the lazy way of doing it, it's the cheats way of doing it, but dearie me, it works for me. And you know, this is a small room, and setting up, you know, kind of a microphone on a stand, and then, you know, having to be kind of within reach of the computer to press record and everything, it's a little bit of a faff around. So that works, I would say, 90% as well, and that's the way I do it. Let's catch up a little bit more with the chat, and then we're going to have a little bit of a look at what happened on this day in rock and roll history throughout the ages. Peter Collins saw Sunburst Satellite Les Paul at a local antiques place this week. Looked nice, but memories of my Satellite put me off. Yeah, well, I can understand, mate, but there's a certain nostalgia value in it for me. Jay Ao Young saying, wish I had time for lessons. So do I, mate. So do I. You know, people seem to think that if you're a guitar teacher, you practice all the time. Would that it were. You know, I have time for a brief warm-up routine every morning, as I'm sort of caffeinating myself. But beyond that, I don't get any chance to sit and kind of try. I did a video ages ago about, you know, figuring out why I suck at, you know, kind of alternate picking. Any kind of fast picking, to be alternate or economy picking, why I suck at it, and I've diagnosed the problem. I know exactly what's wrong, but have I got time to kind of devote to fixing it? No, I don't, because you know, work, if you can call what I do work. Mr. Chris is saying, my Fender Rhodes was a keeper, but she's died. I smashed it up in the back garden. Jimmy James, wow, that's terrible, 53 degrees Fahrenheit. That was the temperature in this room at 3 o'clock this afternoon when I came to set up the live stream. It was as my dad used to say, it's a bit thin. Anything else that I've missed? Talking about keeper guitars there. My 2024 standard SG, bought with my leaving gratuity after 42 years in the RAF. Well, why not, mate? Why not? You know, after that kind of service. Thank you for your service, by the way. Not enough people say that kind of thing. you deserve a treat. What's this, Malcolm? We've just had a garden room completed for my paraplegic wife with lighting and air conditioning, bargain at £20,000, paid out of the compensation she got after 7 years argument with lawyers. Yes, yes, lawyers. Yes, if there's any in tonight, I will say present company accepted, but lawyers. Anyway, shall we have a look at what happened on this day in history, in terms of the rock scene, shall we say? We've got a great one to start off with. I remember watching this on TV in 1989. This year's Brit Awards was hosted by Samantha Fox and Mick Fleetwood, in which just about everything went wrong. Lines were fluffed and bands miscued onto the stage. Winners included Phil Collins, who won British Male Solo Artist. British Female Solo Artist was Annie Lennox. Erasure won Best British Group. Best British Album went to Fairground Attraction for First of a Million Kisses. British Breakthrough Act was Bros. Michael Jackson won International Male. International Female went to Tracy Chapman, and U2 won Best International Group. This was the last year the show was broadcast live. Yes, if you sat through that whole debacle, you will know why. This day, 1982, the marble slab was stolen from the grave of Lynyrd Skynyrd singer Ronnie Van Zant from a cemetery in Orange Park, Florida. Police found it 2 weeks later in a dried-up riverbed. Also, on this day in 1982, the Jam became the first band since the Beatles to play 2 numbers on the same edition of Top of the Pops when they performed A Town Called Malice and Precious, their latest double-A-sided number 1. Beg your pardon. This day in 1980, police raided the home of Sex Pistols' John Lydon, who greeted them waving a ceremonial sword. The only illegal item they found was a canister of tear gas, claimed to be for defence against intruders. And on this day in 1978, Dire Straits began recording their first album at Basing Street Studios, London. The whole project cost £12,500 to produce. The album, which featured the group's breakthrough single Sultans of Swing, went on to enjoy a 132-week run on the UK chart. Let's have a look down here. On this day in 1970, Friday the 13th, Black Sabbath released their debut album, debut self-titled studio album, I do beg your pardon, on Vertigo Records in the UK. Peaking at number 8 in the charts, the album has been recognised as the first album to be credited with the development of the heavy metal genre. And on this day in 1967, the Beatles released the double-A-sided single Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane on Capitol Records in the US. The single spent 10 weeks on the chart, peaking at number 1. The video for the track presented the Beatles' new group image, since all 4 now sported moustaches, following Harrison's lead when he left for India in September '66. In addition to a horseshoe moustache, Lennon wore his round granny glasses for the first time as a member of the Beatles. And finally, this day, 1960, Frank Sinatra launched his own record label, Reprise Records, in order to allow more artistic freedom for his own recordings. Hence, he garnered the name the Chairman of the Board. I didn't know that's where that came from. One of the label's founding principles under Sinatra's leadership was that each artist would have full creative freedom and at some point complete ownership of their work. Reprise later became the home of many influential US artists such as Neil Young, Jimi Hendrix, Joni Mitchell, Randy Newman and the Beach Boys. So there you go, folks. That's what's happened on this day in rock and a little bit. Well, yeah, Frank Sinatra, he was a rock star, wasn't he? You know, I was listening to a little bit of him this morning, actually. Just a best of. Anyway, let's go and take a look at a viewer's tale. Let's get that out of the way. This one comes from session guitar legend, none other than Mr. Gary Shaw, who is, if he's still there, he's in the chat. He says, I met Rick Derringer at a late night bar in Orlando. My friend I was staying with knew him. It's very late and the club is dark. My friend introduced me and because I was so pissed, I fell on top of him, both on the floor. He was cool about it though. I've got lots of these. Nothing too dark, just funny or embarrassing. Best wishes, Gary. Yes, yeah. Being inebriated and falling on top of a rock legend like Rick Derringer, that's a great one, isn't it? If you have any pictures of guitars that you wish to share with me, of the kind we've seen not so long ago, it doesn't have to be a guitar, it could be a bass, it could be, in Vincent Brennan's case, a keyboard, anything at all, anything that you use to make music with, or if you have an amusing tale. Hopefully music related, but we'll give you a little bit of leeway. Hopefully true, but once again we'll give you a little bit of leeway there as well. As long as there's some kind of grain of the actuality in there, then we're fine. Then send them along to jrguitartuition@gmail.com. JR, those are my initials, guitar tuition, that's my job. All one word, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and we'll feature them on the show. That was the last viewer's tale that I have in stock, by the way, so if you could furnish me with a few of those for next week, an amusing, interesting, or just even a cautionary tale of some description that's got some tangential connection to guitar or music, then I'd love to hear them. Let's have a look. What else have I missed in the chat? Silent Hybrid is saying the record label was for his daughter. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? And I honestly didn't know that Reprise was founded by Frank Sinatra. That's a new one on me. Triple Distilled is saying Strawberry Fields may be my favourite Beatles number. I would have to go with the other one on that double A side. Penny Lane, for me, that's a masterpiece. That's not just one of my favourite Beatles songs, that's just one of my favourite songs. And I would say it's probably one of the most beautiful pieces of music, beautiful pop songs ever written. If you've ever seen the Howard Goodall breakdown of just how damn clever that song is, then you begin to appreciate it a bit more. And that's what I love. I love songs that are clever but don't wear their cleverness on their sleeve. You know how like there are certain prog rock bands that delight in showing off how effortlessly they can play 3 bars of 7/8, then 1 bar of 9/8, and then an abrupt key change, and then they go into a different time signature again and all that, and you kind of go, oh my god, these guys have got some chops. And you're noticing the cleverness more than you're noticing just the music. To me that's always a little bit like watching somebody performing triple salchow somersaults off a flying trapeze and then kind of landing effortlessly. It's clever, but it's like when you see an actor that is like as they call it in the movie business, they call it chewing the scenery, I believe, where they're kind of all the big gestures and all this sort of stuff, and then you watch Pacino in The Godfather and you think, yeah, that's acting, where he's not doing a lot but he's absolutely acting, but it's just understated, and it's the art which conceals the art, which I like, and that's the thing that appeals to me about a lot of Beatles songs. What else have I missed? No, that Johnny D, that wasn't the Brits where Jarvis Cocker mooned at Jacko. That was a few. Jarvis Cocker was, that was Pulp, wasn't it? The band. They weren't around in 1989. That was a few years later. And given that, that was if that website is true, that that 1989 Brits was the last one to be broadcast live. If that's true, then it means that the one where Jarvis Cocker did get his cheeks out for Michael Jackson, that must have been pre-recorded, and they left it in. I suppose you can't have Michael Jackson doing a performance and then for some reason have to edit it out. You know, I suppose so. The hands were tied a little bit like that, but you know, it's no. I remember that. I remember absolutely creasing with laughing when I watched it in the day. That was in the days when I used to watch the Brits. Cylon Hybrid is mentioning the other host of that Brit show there, Samantha Fox. For those outside the UK, Samantha Fox, there's a newspaper in the UK called The Sun, and until relatively recently, page 3 of the Sun newspaper used to have a topless pin-up on it. And Samantha Fox was a young lady who made a good career out of being that topless pin-up, and one of her colleagues was the one that I always had the hots for, it has to be said, Linda Lusardi. Oh dearie me, yes, yes, she wouldn't have had to say please and thank you. Let's put it that way. Oh, Chris Otterwell. Saw the classic rock show in Northampton last week. Never failed to impress. Keeps me going back every tour. Yep. Classic rock show. I mean, I've extolled their virtues on here. I remember doing a video literally the day after I'd been to see them, and I was still flabbergasted from the set. If they're gigging anywhere near you, go and see them. They are just, I'll just, you know, look for them on YouTube if you haven't already done so. I mean, there aren't many bands that can pull off a fully live, full version of Bohemian Rhapsody. They do. That's more than Queen ever did. You know, and it is just, they are astonishingly good. Go and see them if you get the chance. Where are we? Ravensmead is saying Black Sabbath released their first album Friday the 13th, 1970. Yes, I know, we just read that out, mate. What else have I missed? Jay Aoyong is saying acoustics are very hard to play. Got one of those modern lava ones, previous generation, not the one with the screen. Hardly touched the thing. Yeah, one of my students, one of my ex-students, one of my erstwhile students had one of those, and he brought it into the lesson, and I had a little bit of a fiddle around with it, and it was impressive, and I could see this. But you know, when you pick something up and you think, I would be bored with this after the first file, after I've kind of played with all the buttons and everything, and kind of, it is a little bit disconcerting when you hear reverb, delay and chorus coming out of the sound hole of the guitar. That's you know, it's a little bit like watching water run uphill. Johnny D's saying yes, let's put you up on screen, mate. Yes, Sam and Mick were hilarious. I saw it too. It was one of those television events that was so bad it was brilliant. It really was. Is the Lamb amongst us? I didn't see you sneak in there, mate. I just saw somebody replying to him. Well, the legend that is the Lamb is amongst us, mate. Gary Shaw. I played a song for Shane Linton, page 3 girl. She gave me a bunch of Polaroids. Lucky old you. And a lot of people are mentioning another page 3 girl in here, Joe Guest. Chris Otterwell's being assaulted by his 3-year-old grandson. See you next week, mate. Yes, all the best to you and your grandson. Yes, you'll probably have an embarrassing story to tell about him when he's a teenager. The Lamb, the live stream will be back on the 28th. Special 3-hour stream for charity in aid of local Hope House Children's Hospice. Part of charity drive by a load of Welsh streamers called Dathlu Cymru. Nice one, mate. I shall try and get along for that. 28th, that's... yeah, it's a Saturday, isn't it? Of course it is. I know that because tomorrow's a Saturday and tomorrow's the 14th. By the way, lads, have you all got your Valentine's things sorted? There's no excuse these days with Moonpig. I've got the wife's got a card, and I pushed the boat out this year. I really have. Yes. Yes, Lindor chocolates. Yes, she'll be. She loves those. We don't make a big deal of it, but if you don't make even a token gesture, then it's like a couple of days later you're saying, what's wrong? And she'll go, nothing. Oh yeah, it was Valentine's at the weekends, wasn't it? And I forgot. Yes, so thankfully I've got a Moonpig reminder set up for that. And where are we? Lots of discussions about page 3, girls. I've opened a can of worms there, haven't I? Let's have another wee look. What else have I missed? Bound to be something. Lots of people looking forward to Lamb's live stream. It's just a shame I can't make it that often because it's on a Saturday, and that's supposedly like an us night on the TV for me and the missus. And if I was going to say, I want to watch this live stream by a YouTuber that I know, plays guitar, sings a bit, tells jokes, and again a couple of days later I'd be saying, what's wrong, darling? She goes, nothing. That's when you know there definitely is something wrong. Where are we? Johnny D is saying it's like endless shredding is jaw-dropping for about 5 minutes, then you wonder where the music is. Indeed, I've told this story many times. I was reading all the hype about Yngwie Malmsteen in guitar magazines in the 80s, and this guy's got to be incredible. And then I bought the first album and on vinyl, and I never ever flipped it over to side 2 because side 1, you start off, your jaw drops, and then by the end of side 1 I was bored. Chris Otterwell's saying can't watch the Brits, awful. Yes indeed, that is very much the case now. That's it. I don't know whether it's a combination of I'm just old and pop music and top 40, which is what the Brits is all about really, just isn't aimed at people like me in the same way as that kind of Glyndebourne and opera and all of that sort of stuff isn't aimed at 13-14-year-olds. So maybe I've just lost touch with that, or maybe it's just that here's a radical thought, maybe the quality of pop music has top 40 music has declined over the years, or maybe it's a combination of both. I see we've got Ted Talks Guitars. Nice to see you. And Malcolm Spillett saying the Sun newspaper, allegedly, mate. Yes. To be fair, when they did get I used to enjoy reading Trevor Kavanagh in the Sun, one of their political correspondents. But we don't talk about politics here, so that's all I'm going to say on that. Cylon Hybrid is saying, John, with the weather being as it is, do you put a coat on Dougal, and does your better half have a fully fitted sheep coat on the market? Dougal has to wear a harness, which covers a lot. He has to wear a harness because it's the only way I can control the little sod, and that sort of doubles up as a coat. And the wife has, she's currently in what is euphemistically described as her stay-at-home leisure wear, which is another way of saying fluffy pyjamas. Oh yes, that's a delight for the eyes. It genuinely is. Anyway, what else have we got? Just before we wrap up, the Lamb is saying, I love it when there's a proggy rhythm and I can work out, it's 6 beats, then 7 beats, etc. But the ones that are impenetrable without study turn me off entirely. Also, hiya, John. Well, a belated hiya to you. And on that note, chaps, as the Lamb greets me that I missed earlier, and I've just kind of returned the compliment, we're going to wrap it up there for another week. Thank you once again for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern bloke wing it for an hour, talking absolute bollocks and getting away with it. But I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. So until the next time, gentlemen, please.